No, what did you feel about this one? What did you think about Black Widow?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I like the characters. I like, kind of what they did with it, but simultaneously it was also a little bit of a bummer because I kind of wish that we got that movie before, since really what it is a sequel to Captain America Civil War. So I kind of wish, I was like, well, it would have been better to get it back then. Yeah, I thought it was good. Was there anything that stood out to you?
Yeah, I I really like the family dynamic. I thought that was really interesting. I think Florence Pugh is awesome, and she really I felt like for the areas that maybe it lacked, she made up for a lot of it. I really liked I'm a big fan of the Mission Impossible series, so it kind of felt like that. Maybe not in scope, but in just what they were trying to attempt, the spy thriller. And that's something that Marvel's done really well in the phases before Phase 4. Take these movies and turn them into genre movies. Take these superhero movies, turn them into genre movies. Winter Soldier comes to mind as like the best example of that. But I overall I enjoyed this movie. They're dealing in things that were never touched upon before. So that part of it was a little bit rough, but overall I think it was a pretty good movie.
Yeah, it was obvious that they had to sort of retcon a lot of stuff because, obviously
Yeah.
like this was never planned, but like considering that, I thought they did a good job. I thought like this movie like made me just really love Florence Pugh and want to watch more of her movies. She was pretty awesome, and we'll talk about her a little bit more in like Hawkeye too. David Harbour was awesome. Like I thought he was great in that role too. Like more of a funny like presence. Was pretty cool. Yeah, I know like people had mixed reactions for the end of the movie, and kind of where it went. I liked it for the most part. Like I thought it was pretty cool that it was like, they really like went hard into the Red Room and sort of like she was able to really confront that like head on and like put like a full stop to it. And then of course like Taskmaster, like some people didn't like of the plot twist. Like anybody that reads the comics, like Taskmaster was a super different character. He was a dude that was a villain and kind of crafty, and he could copy anybody's moves and with his photographic memory, and that's what's kind of made him interesting. Obviously, they did something very different, same kind of premise, but with this daughter, right? It was the daughter that is more like some more personal stakes. Like obviously they swap the gender, but they kind of make her like a victim of the Red Room.
Yeah, that wasn't my favorite part of the movie for sure. I thought Taskmaster was a little bit poorly served, but I did like the tie-in to Natasha and how it related to her, and I thought that it moved the MCU forward, which that's kind of my biggest complaint with a lot of Phase 4 stuff is it doesn't move the puck, to use a hockey reference, but
Yes.
yeah. So yeah, overall, I think for this one, I would say that I'd give it a solid 7 out of 10. I think that's fair.
I was grading in terms of grade school, so I gave it a B plus. But
Oh,
similar. Kind of similar there. It's right in there. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Like I was saying to you, like one of my only complaints to it too is sort of like it made me a little bit bummed out that we didn't get this earlier because in the timeline it's right after Captain America Civil War,
mm.
and it made me a little bit bummed out. Like it would have been awesome to like actually be there, but yeah, I'm glad we got it. When they first originally in like 2012 when people were like, we want a Black Widow movie, I was kind of like, I don't know, like the way she served in like the Avengers movies is pretty awesome. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I am glad that she got her own movie. And
I will say I think it was a good movie to come back to. It was a familiar character. It was a tie to the previous storyline, and I enjoyed that. So when all the pandemic madness kind of came to an end, or fizzled out more, and theaters were opening up, I think it was the right movie to go and see.
yeah, and it just got so delayed too that it was like kind of nice to be like, oh yeah, movies
Yeah,
exist.
a
I
Marvel
forgot.
movie. Yeah, for sure.
A Marvel movie.